Missouri State, year two in the FBS, actually coming off a quality season in year one. This team went 7-6. They went to a bowl game, but now more adversity. You're losing your head coach, Ryan Beard. He goes to Coastal Carolina. This is more adversity. You now hire a brand new head coach in Casey Woods. What does this team do to maintain their FBS success? This video is going to talk about Woods, the new staff, overall roster health, and then we'll break down what to expect for this upcoming season. So let's take a look at Missouri State. Awesome finish in year one in the FBS. So this team is coming in towards the bottom in overall conference rankings. Should be no surprise. That's kind of what happens for teams that make the jump. But they are ninth in talent acquisition when you look at their overall blend of recruiting and transfer portal. Now, there is a little bit of nuance here. For example, they have 100% of their 2024 class. That class consisted of 3 recruits that were ranked, and 2 of them were 2-stars. So some of these classes are tiny, but overall, the team is improving in recruiting and transfer portal usage. They almost cracked the top 100 this year in transfer portal usage, but they bring in an exciting coach. Casey Woods is the former SMU OC. That offense has been electric. You have Mark Calla taking over OC duties. He was at UTEP before that, but previously with TCU as a QB's coach. They have not named their play caller. So I'm kind of interested to see who runs the show here. But regardless, I think you're going to see a lot of pass-friendly offense and probably quite a bit of pace with the blend of Casey Woods and Calla. Your DC is Jack Curtis. He takes over after working as an Auburn analyst. Previously was the Tulane DC from 2016 to 2020. Liberty co-DC from 21 to 23. There's a bit of experience here. For a team that is clearly a little bit strapped for resources, I like what they did with the coaching staff. They should be talent maximizers in the long run. But let's talk about the depth chart for Missouri State. What you're going to see on the screen is how experienced these players are. You can see their snaps the last 2 years, what recruit they were in terms of a star. The value score is what's important. It's a 0 to 100 scale. Looking forward, trying to give you an expectation what to expect this year. 100 is the best, 50 is about average. So there's a bit of a battle going on for Missouri State. I know Henry Bellin has been banged up, but just bear with me. I wouldn't be surprised to see Locklear win this job because of it, but we'll talk about them both. They need to replace Jacob Clark, who was awesome actually for this team. Henry Bellin comes from Duke, so he's kind of the higher-end starter. I guess I should say prospect. Hasn't started many games, to be honest, but he's 6'3", 225. We've seen him with only 1 big-time throw, 4 turnover-worthy plays, but 3.4 yards per carry despite 3 sacks. There's just not a lot to go on with him, but he certainly is a higher-end recruit, higher-end talent than a player like Skylar Locklear, who comes over from UTEP, and we've seen Locklear play quite a bit. He has a 59.5% completion percentage, only 6.8 yards per attempt, 26 big-time throws, 21 turnover-worthy plays, does run a little bit, 633 yards there, and he has clear continuity with the offensive staff. The OC, listed on paper at least, we're not sure about play calling, brought over Locklear. So this should maybe be a feather in his cap. It's hard to really parse what UTEP was last year, though. That offense was largely devoid of talent. Locklear did struggle at times, but was that Locklear? Was that just UTEP being an inept program? It's kind of hard to say. Regardless, the Missouri State QB room ranks 9th in Conference USA. This unit does have a bit of ways to travel, just largely due to lack of experience and talent at the program. Wide receiver, this team is losing quite a bit. Dash Luke graduated. Ronald Johnson went to Jacksonville State, but they do return Jamarie Robinson, who caught 44 passes for 632 yards. That was good for 1.7 yards per route. That's above average. And he primarily played their slot receiver. Now in his career, he has 127 catches for 1,708 yards. Should be a quality returning starter. There are a couple other players that also elected to return, like Makai Cope and James Blackstrain. And the two things these guys have in common, good recruits, came from P4 programs. Makai Cope was with Utah. He's 6'3", 210, caught 20 passes for 269 yards. He'll play on the perimeter. James Blackstrain is a former Georgia Tech 4-star. He caught 22 balls for 224 yards, also a perimeter receiver. They have good size on the perimeter, and when your slot receiver is Robinson at 6'1", It's actually quite a bit. Now, when you get below this, you start looking at transfers that can contribute. Mekhi Miller is an interesting case coming over from Tulsa. He's hard to evaluate because he's played at some elite programs. He originally was with Missouri where he caught 32 passes, just really inefficient there. Goes down to Tulsa where he's played more of the slot. 9 catches in 4 games before missing the rest of the season. So Miller is sort of a wild card to look at. I think there's a chance he's a lot better than we might think. Isaiah Myers also comes from Western Kentucky. Hasn't really played a lot. His most productive seasons came with Charlotte. So there are a couple interesting pieces for this room. We actually have it ranked towards the top of the conference. We have it second overall. If they can get Bellin or Locklear together, this could be a quality passing attack. Tight end, they have maybe not the best production. There is some upside, though. It was really young last year. It's still really young, honestly. Jaron Askren, 26 catches on 510 snaps, average blocking, still a sophomore, redshirt sophomore. But you can kind of see a path. Whit Edwards comes over from Vanderbilt. He's a 4-star sophomore, clearly seeking more playing time. Dylan Hipp is a sophomore. He's a former Ole Miss transfer. There's actually quite a bit of talent in this tight end room. We have it ranked second in the conference. The main concern is just inexperience, and Askren kind of fills that. So let's look at the offensive line. This unit is my biggest concern, and it is a pretty massive concern right up there with QB. Last year, this unit was awesome. We just talked about one of their transfers they lost. Cash Hudson went to South Florida. Mark Hutchinson graduated. Ebubudike Nabuagu went to South Carolina. Eric Cade graduated. So your only returning starter is Matthew Green, the former UNLV transfer. Pretty good in pass pro. Run blocking was a little below average. All of that sort of sets up for a slightly below average player with Matthew Green. He should handle at least one of the guard spots. Makete Gay is the other potential guard. We haven't really seen him, but he is a former Louisville transfer. You could maybe see him playing left tackle. He is 6'6", but a lot of the projections have him at guard, so we'll go with that. And then to round out the interior, you have Jackson State transfer Isaiah Villanueva. He played 344 snaps last year, and the main concern is that they were atrocious. 4 pressures, poor run blocking metrics. He's a huge concern. So you probably are looking to replace him. There are some options like Julius Dumas is a good 3-star recruit. Logan Scrivener, Ben Ledke played a few snaps last year. They should deserve a look over Villanueva. I have no idea if he can even play at this level of competition because he really couldn't play in the FCS with Jackson State. Now, tackle probably is a little better. King Large comes over from SMU. A pretty decent recruit. He's just very clearly seeking more playing time. Only a redshirt freshman, so I don't know how Missouri calculates these redshirt freshmen because he's already been at SMU for 2 years, but maybe there's an injury redshirt or something like that. Colleges clearly are a little confused based on some court rulings that the NCAA has really struggled with this year. But the other one, probably Braden Thompson. He played 54 snaps. There are a couple other options like VMI transfer, William Dixon. The problem is he was 39th percentile in the FCS. He's never been good down there. There's like a Chase Mado, Santiago Castillo. This unit is 9th in Conference USA, and I'm not really sure there's much of a path other than rapid, unexpected development from some of these players. There's just too many really low-level FCS guys that are probably going to at least be in the 2 deep. Running back for this team, they do bring in a really interesting John Brace Dubar, and he was very good when he got work with Boise State. 4.8 yards per carry. He's never dropped a pass or fumbled. Really good yards after contact numbers and forced missed tackles. He's at least going to play in a rotation with Ramon Green Jr., and I wouldn't be surprised if he plays quite a bit, but probably not because Green is such a good pass catcher. He didn't drop a single target last year. He caught 28 balls, over 400 yards, and even as a rusher, 5.3 yards per carry is pretty good, but he's 5'9", 190. Dubar is 205. There's a couple of younger players, Iverson Young, King Davis, not experienced whatsoever, but decent depth that have been here for a bit. Overall, biggest limitation with the offense, what are you getting out of offensive line and QB? If those can come together, there's shockingly high upside. And before we get to the defense, this video is brought to you by our college football summer guide. We've been hard at work trying to get this to you ever since the spring. And what this includes for just $50, projections for every single game. That's a score, a total, and a spread. That means win totals for every single team, all 138. There will also be player projections for those of you involved in best ball. That's down to the statistical level. Think passing yards, passing touchdowns, etc. Depth charts for all 138 teams, which includes our value grading score. You've seen that on the screen in this very video. You'll get written analysis for most teams and players, which updates constantly throughout the summer. And that is a real separator for us versus the competition. Whenever news breaks, that will be immediately updated. You also get Discord access, which allows you to chop it up on any team, player, anytime there's a story. A lot of like-minded people in there just like you. You can also ask any question. Those will be addressed either here or in the Discord itself. And if you'd like to support in a smaller way, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. That helps show YouTube that this content is actually worthwhile, and it gets us in front of new viewers in the long run, which just helps us keep doing this. You can also hype the video, leave a comment. Those are great ways to support the channel. And thank you if you've done any of that. It truly does help the channel grow. Last thing, if you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, back to the video. Defense. Missouri State was 101st in run defense, 70th in pass rush last year. Losing quite a bit. DJ Wesolak is the main departure. He went to CUSA, Carolina, following Ryan Beard. So first place you go to, former Kansas four-star Dylan Brooks is coming in seeking playing time. Big problem with him has been injuries. He's been hurt the last 2 seasons. We haven't seen him since he played 103 snaps in 23. He's an upside play. He originally was with Auburn. You just need him to stay healthy. He is a 4-star. There is a Miami, Ohio transfer. Josh the CUSA, 686 career snaps, 35 pressures. Consistently above average. He should be able to handle this level of production. You have Kellen Lindstrom from Tennessee, a 4-star, clearly just seeking more playing time. This edge group is good. Caden Weist is your most experienced. He'll probably see around the same number of snaps without injury. And he was decent, 11 pressures and solid run defense when we saw him. The edge group is really good. Inside, Ahmad Poole went to Coastal Carolina. Tim Brantley is your best returner. He was a good, for the most part, run defender. 13 pressures is kind of where he really excelled with 352 snaps. You're likely looking at some form of rotation. The rest of this unit has a bit of, let's say, a lack of depth. Because even when you look at some of the better transfers, like UMass transfer Malachi Madison, he pretty much got kicked off the team because of behavior issues. What do you get out of him? He's a wild card. He actually was decent when he played, but you don't like that. He's a former Virginia Tech transfer before he went to UMass. Markel Chapman comes from Iowa State, but let's not get this confused. He didn't play in the Big 12, and he previously came from JUCO. These guys are very dicey. So basically a JUCO transfer because of the inexperience with Iowa State. What do you get out of him? Maybe this is more his speed, though. Anthony Madison is also in the mix. He's a current JUCO transfer, so interior, much more of a concern than the edge group. But when you put it all together, we have the D-line ranked 4th in Conference USA. Linebacker, Jared Lloyd is back. He was a quality player last year. Multi-year starter. Tied Kanye Young with 77 tackles to lead the team. Very, very good run defense. Coverage was a bit dicey, 76% completion percentage for 243 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 PBU. But when he was moving forward, he was awesome. Your other linebacker, we listed Cooper Roy here. He's a bit of a hybrid player. We saw him kind of play linebacker, kind of play DB. He's 225 pounds. The main problem was 7 missed tackles. He allowed 5 catches, which were all of his targets to be completed. So there is some concern there. There are a couple other guys like a Jayshon Cooper. He's played a little bit through his career. UTEP transfer Stratton Schufelt came over after kind of a rocky season. There's a former JUCO transfer in Martavis Blackman still on the team. We didn't get much of him last year. This unit ranks 8th in Conference USA. And to round it out, the secondary, they were 69th in coverage last year. They're losing almost everybody. The main players, Jordan Dunbar was a UDFA, a couple depth pieces. But at safety, you do get Christian Ford back. 763 snaps. He was an average run defender with 52 tackles. Coverage was kind of a mess. 75% completion percentage for 240 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did have 1 pick, though. But you're probably going to see him start. The other player to watch is J.J. O'Neal. He did not play after week 4, but he did play 683 snaps in 2024. Missed 19 tackles, so run defense was a bit of an issue, but he was better in coverage. So if you can piece both of their skill sets together, you might be looking at decent safety play. It's a concern for me. When you get to the corner position and your nickel position, Dylan Dixon, 609 snaps. He's a former Colorado transfer. He's another player that had a lot of issues with missed tackles. He missed 14. This was a huge concern with them last year. He also allowed 40 catches. So no surprise, he's coming in way below average. Your actual corners, Kent State transfer Joel Boama, 311 snaps the last 3 years, pretty up and down. You have a Duquesne transfer and Joel Pasu, who didn't even quite meet snap thresholds down there, but he was 75th percentile in the FCS. There's like a Devin Rutherford, a Darion Taylor for deep depth, but this unit has a lot of concerns. We have it ranked last in Conference USA. The back 7 could be a big problem. So if that edge rush doesn't get home quickly, you could be looking at some problems. I'm not sure the kicking game is very good either. Yusuf Obaid was pretty bad last year. He did miss only 1 extra point, but he was 14 of 22 on field goals. He was 6 of 13 on 40 plus, and he was 0 of 3 on 50 plus, basically no range. And he was very erratic. Even just going back to games, I watched him play. But let's look at how this team stacks up overall in Conference USA. We have Missouri State power ranked 131st. Their win total is 4.5. It's basically right in line with where we have it. When you factor in juice, the win total is basically effectively 4 wins. We're at 4.04. Best groups, defensive line and wide receiver, with enough holes in between where I am concerned with Missouri State. Their schedule is interesting. They play Texas A&M in week 1. That has slaughtering written all over it. But they go to Lindenwood, where they, I guess, host Lindenwood in week 2. That's a spot where you could get one of those wins back. You round it out with Marshall and SMU, probably looking at a 1-3 start for this team, and then you get into conference play where there's a lot jumbled up in Conference USA overall. Most likely wins are probably Kennesaw State, Sam Houston, and New Mexico State, but there's always going to be tricky midweek spots. You play on short weeks twice. After the bye, you play Western Kentucky, short week against Kennesaw. Immediately after, short week on the road against Delaware. So it definitely is not going to come easy, and there are hard games. Certainly your road trips away at Western Kentucky, away at Delaware. Those are probably the 2 best teams in the conference. The other team that's right up there is Liberty. That game is at home, but it's your season finale. Tough season for Missouri State. It's going to be a pass for us. So no surprise seeing them come as a near 40-point underdog to Texas A&M. Frankly, that might not be enough. We might be light on that. I will be considering Texas A&M, all things considered.